Man, you were her emotional doormat. Always there, squeaky clean, ready to get walked all over with style. You were her go-to fixer for every heart-wrenching meltdown, ready to patch up messes you didn't even make. She leaned on you like an emotional crutch, unloading her chaos when her world fell apart, only to ghost you the second her skies cleared up. You were her free Wi-Fi, always on, no password, no bill. Her backup plan so cozy, she forgot you had a pulse. One crooked smile or a dramatic pause, and there you were, her loyal soldier, charging into a war that wasn't even yours. She pushed you harder than a test drive on a bumpy back road, and you stayed. Until, plot twist, you hit the brakes. Stopped texting back, stopped chasing, stopped groveling. And in the echo of your silence, guess who crumbled? Her. Because it was never about you. It was about control. And losing the reins? That stings, doesn't it? Now she's calling it a loss when she never truly had you. Because you, my friend, weren't hers to own. You were a presence. And when she lost that, the game flipped. If this video found you, congrats. You finally get it. She's crying. You're not even listening anymore. And honestly, let her keep crying. Hold up. Before we dive deeper, let me ask you something. Sick of watching everyone else get played and turned into a life lesson on YouTube? Now it's your turn, champ. We're launching a new segment on the channel, Tales of Holding On Too Long, where we spill your story with all the drama, sarcasm, and raw truth it deserves. Ever swallowed your pride for love? Been the nice guy stuck as plan B? Walked out of a relationship feeling like an extra in your own movie? Drop your story in the comments. No filter, no fluff, no shame. The best or worst ones getting a video. With that sharp, no BS narration you already know and love. Spill it in the comments. What's the time you clung too hard to someone who didn't deserve you? Let's turn your pain into a script and have a few laughs while the truth burns where it needs to. Because here, pain doesn't fester into trauma, it fuels content. Now, no more beating around the bush. Let's get to it. Number 1, the I don't deserve you cop-out. Oh, the classic, I don't deserve you. Sounds like an Oscar-worthy line from a supporting actress in her own soap opera. Humble? Sure seems like it. Self-aware? Maybe. But the real tea? It's a dodge. A spineless exit wrapped in a shiny bow of fake introspection. She knows you're too good for her, but instead of stepping up, she bolts like a roach when the lights flick on. Being with a steady guy takes what? Emotional maturity, and that's a tall order. It means ditching the drama queen act, checking her spoiled ego at the door, and, toughest of all, letting go of control. You were too solid, too kind, too damn grounded. A walking billboard of emotional sanity. And that, my man, exposed the hot mess she was hiding behind her fake smile and empowered persona. You weren't just another pawn in her Sunday night games. You were a mirror, and nobody likes staring at their cracks. So what did she do? She bailed, obviously, because owning up to you meant owning up to her need to grow. And growth? That's inconvenient. It hurts. It takes work. So when she hit you with, I don't deserve you, the real translation was, I'm nowhere near ready to handle a man who knows who he is and what he wants. And between you and me, she might never be. End of the fairy tale. Wake up, prince. She wasn't the princess, just another character dodging the script of her own chaos. Number 2, when being good scares her more than toxicity. Yep, ladies and gents, in this gloriously messed up world, healthy is the real villain. Sounds like a bad joke, but it's just another Friday night in the circus of modern dating. You roll up with what? Calm, presence, responsibility, the full package of emotional balance. And what's your reward? Panic. Not awe, not respect. Straight up panic. Why? because she's wired to think love's gotta hurt. She grew up believing if there's no drama, no yelling, no 48-hour ghosting spree, it's not passion, it's boring. You showed up with open communication, honesty, stability, and she lost it. Because you, with your civilized vibes, yanked away the only drug she knew, chaos. You brought peace when she braced for a fight, stayed present when she had her "I'm leaving" speech rehearsed. That threw her whole script off. For someone hooked on emotional roller coasters, steady ground feels like a dead end. Cue the circus. She tests you, pokes you, starts fights over nothing. All to see if you'll morph into the toxic jerk she thinks a real man should be. But you didn't bite, didn't yell, didn't flip out, didn't play her telenovela villain. You held your ground, and that's when her world shook. Because right then, she saw the ugly truth. The problem was never a shortage of good guys. It was her. The chaos was inside. And facing that hurts worse than any ghosting she's ever pulled. Don't get it twisted. Your goodness didn't scare her. The mirror you held up did. And honestly, some people would rather smash the mirror than fix their cracks. Number 3, the backfire when you ghost. You vanish. Radio silence. No texts, no good morning ego boosts. And what happens? Your silence screams louder than any novel-length WhatsApp rant. But hold up. Don't kid yourself. This isn't her missing you. It's withdrawal from losing control. When you were there, her loyal, emotional puppy, always around, always reachable, she had it easy. She could ignore you, treat you like dirt, knowing one snap of her fingers and poof, you'd be back, ready for another round of being taken for granted. Then you disappeared. For real. Not some petty, let's see if she notices game. You found peace. And that, my man, flipped the script. Her ego, that spoiled little gremlin fed by your constant attention, went into meltdown mode. What do you mean he's not chasing me? He didn't reply in 5 seconds? He's moving on? Cue the show. Subtle jabs, shady posts, desperate attempts to rile you up, all to drag you back to the needy nice guy role she had you pinned for. But this time, it's not working. Because you're not ghosting. You're free. And freedom to someone addicted to drama is a death sentence. Your silence became your battle cry. It showed you were done being her emotional punching bag, and the harder she tries to claw back control, the clearer it gets. Game over. Spoiler, she didn't lose when you left. She lost when she thought you'd never have the guts to. Number 4, the truth that hits in the silence. You're gone. And suddenly, her little mind games turn into her own psychological torture. No more texts, no grand gestures, no more of your pathetic availability. Just a void. And in that void, my man, the truth slaps her harder than reality TV drama. While you were out there playing unpaid therapist, trying to fix what was never your mess, she was chilling. Perched on her throne of indifference, comfy in her control. You were her emotional GPS, always on, always rerouting to keep her happy. But the second you went MIA, the spell broke. In the quiet of your absence, she starts hearing what she conveniently ignored. How much you gave, swallowed, waited. And guess what? The emptiness hits. For the first time, she feels your absence, and it exposes her whole charade. The problem was never you. It was how easy it was for her to take you for granted. Because until now, you hadn't shown her you could walk away. Now, with you out of the picture, reality crashes down. The love was one-sided. The admiration was all yours. The effort, entirely on you. And that silence she thought was weakness. It's your victory lap. Proof you woke up, ditched the lovesick fool role, and stopped settling for emotional crumbs. In the end, she's the one who lost. Because you finally got what she still doesn't. Pouring yourself into someone who doesn't give back only makes you look like a sucker. And before we move on, listen up, champ. Fed up with being her emotional doormat? Tired of playing the nice guy she stomps on, then ignores? Then wake the hell up. In the description, there's a digital book that's basically the wake-up call you've been dodging. No room for guys who keep their heads down. The world doesn't respect pushovers. Want to flip the script? Stop being the emotional clown of the story? Then check it out and learn how to carry yourself like a man who commands respect, knows his worth, and doesn't beg for scraps from someone who doesn't even deserve your silence. Your call. Keep being the lovesick fool, or become the guy she'll regret losing for the rest of her life. Number 5. The rage that turns to regret. At first, she's pissed. Not at you, but at the void you left. Because now there's no one to point fingers at, no audience for her emotional tantrums. You vanished, peacefully. The worst kind of exit for a drama addict. And that, my friend, eats her alive. She wanted a scene. Wanted you yelling, begging, tearing your hair out like some desperate extra. But nope, you slipped away without a fuss. No drama, no note on the mirror. And that silence? It cuts deeper than any shouting match. Because it doesn't have an answer, no counter move, just the echo of your absence screaming, "You blew it." Her anger? Just her bruised ego throwing a fit. She's not mad at you. She's freaking out because she lost her grip on the emotional puppet she thought she could yank around with a few sad emojis. But time's a brutal teacher and shallow rage burns out. What's left? Silence, sadness, regret. That's when she realizes the mess she made, that the guy she treated like a background character was the damn star, that no one else will put up with what you did, that the love she scoffed at doesn't come with a warranty, and that's when the script flips. She's not trying to prove she was right anymore. Now she just wants to feel what she lost. But guess what? Too late. The stage is empty. The show's over. And you, my guy, aren't waiting in the wings anymore. You're out there, living, at peace. And her? She'll spend forever trying to figure out how the nice guy became the one she'll never forget. Number 6. The truth nobody tells about a man's silence. Everyone loves to rag on the guy who loses it, who ghosts like a coward. But nobody, and I mean nobody, talks about the man who goes quiet, who's still there, breathing, answering in one-word texts, but inside, he's already checked out. That's the guy who's hit rock-bottom disappointment, the point of indifference. He doesn't love anymore, doesn't hate, he doesn't feel. And that, my friend, is the real emotional apocalypse. Because anger's still something. Love, pain, frustration, those still tie you together. But when it's just silence, it's over. This silence isn't coldness, it's not neglect, it's survival. The last stand of a man who screamed in every way possible and got ignored. Who gave his all to someone who only knew how to break. Who believed in us while she played Cold War games. When a man hits this point, he doesn't make a scene, doesn't put on a show. He just watches, sees the chaos, processes it, and walks away. Sometimes physically, sometimes just his soul. Because what died wasn't just love, it was the will to keep trying. And the scariest part? This guy doesn't come back. No long text will move him. No "I've changed" will sway him. Because what she killed was the root. And when he goes silent, the universe is saying, game over. A man's silence is the tombstone of a love buried alive, while she thought she had all the time in the world. But now, it's just echoes. An absence. An absence so final even her loudest screams won't reach it. Number 7. When she realizes the game's over. Too damn late. She was so sure you'd always be there. Her emotional backup. like that ratty old coat she never wears but won't toss out. Always ready to chase, forgive, play the fool with finesse. Why? Because for way too long, that's exactly what you did. You stuck around when she ghosted, gave in when she threw tantrums, took emotional punches like a Buddhist monk on a bad day. And her? She got comfy, thought she had you on lock, predictable, guaranteed, like an app that works with one tap. But then, one day, you were done. Not with some loud, dramatic meltdown. It was different. It was that eerie silence only someone who's dead inside can pull off. That blank stare that doesn't beg for approval. That presence that's already halfway gone. And that, my man, flipped the game. She felt it. Because nothing hurts more than realizing the guy who was once yours now feels nothing. No pain, no anger, no longing. Just a cold, empty void where hope used to live. And it's in that moment, that perfect, useless moment, that she decides she wants you back. Hits you with the classic "I've changed." Suddenly she's ready to love. But it's too late, because when you stopped playing, the board got burned, and no emotional chess master can win a game that's already packed up and done. She didn't lose you when you left. She lost you when she thought you'd never have the balls to. And now, she's just a spectator watching the man she underestimated walk away in peace. Without her. Forever.
Number 8. She only realized she loved you when you became a stranger.
At the start, you were just another guy in line. The nice guy trying to win the drama queen's heart. And her? Too busy soaking up shallow compliments, collecting disposable attention, and being worshipped by dudes who couldn't handle 2 days of her emotional mess. You, with your predictability, or as she called it, boring, were always there. Steady, loyal, too damn much. And for a hot mess ego, that's unbearable. Because emotionally unstable people can't handle what's solid. So she pushed you away, tested you, played games, ignored you. And you stayed. Because you believed, because you loved, until one day, it clicked. You looked in the mirror and saw a fool about to vanish in his own neediness. So you did what every man who loves himself does. You turned your back, stopped explaining, dropped off the radar. And that's when her emotional walls cracked. Your silence became torture. The absence of your voice, your texts, your eyes. It started to weigh. And her, the great "I don't need anyone" queen, discovered the worst kind of longing, the kind that hits after you've burned it all down. In that emptiness, she realized she loved you. But of course, it's too late, because that lovesick, available, persistent guy, he's gone. In his place is a stranger, a man who doesn't hate, doesn't love, just moved on. And that's when she felt the real void. Not just losing a guy, but losing someone who truly cared. And walked away like someone who finally learned loving himself comes before fixing someone who doesn't want to be saved. Curtains down, lights out, she's clapping alone. And you're on a new stage where your worth isn't ignored, it's celebrated. Number 9, when you disappear, she's forced to face the truth. You were the mirror she dodged. The reflection that showed not what she wanted, but what she needed to face. While you were there, hanging on, she could play the emotional puppet master, setting the rules, ignoring you when it suited her, making you chase while whining about your pace. But then you got fed up, vanished, and with you gone, her whole act collapsed. Because see, you weren't just some guy. You were her emotional anchor, the break on her chaos, the boundary she didn't want to admit she needed. Your absence wasn't just not there. It was a silent scream saying, "The show's over." Now she's wondering, what happened? Where did I lose him? Why does this hurt so bad? But here's the deal. She doesn't miss you. She misses the certainty you brought, the peace your presence carried, the comfort she mocked as predictable, The support she trampled while testing how far you'd bend. Now alone she faces the mirror. No you to soften her cracks with love. No nice guy to cushion her meltdowns. And for the first time she admits, even if just to herself, that the problem was never you being too much. It was her never learning to handle a man who loves without ulterior motives, who cares without expecting a standing ovation, who stays even when everything screams to leave. And that truth, it's the hardest pill to swallow, because it shows the real pain wasn't losing you. It was realizing you were everything she claimed to want, and she destroyed it anyway. Number 10. The day she realizes there's no going back. She thought you'd always come crawling back. You always did, right? Disappeared for a bit, licked your wounds, swallowed your pride, and there you were, loyal, present, predictable as a Swiss watch. She banked on your return like it was the sunrise, certain, guaranteed, automatic. So she pushed it, toyed with your limits like a spoiled kid playing with fine china, thinking it'd never break. But it did. Because even the most patient fool wakes up eventually. And on that day, my man, you didn't yell, didn't send a novel-length text, didn't demand answers. You just left. And you did it in the way that destroys slowly, with silence, with absence, with a non-reaction that speaks louder than any blowout. Your choice to stop chasing was the earthquake that toppled her house of cards. That's when the panic sets in. Because this time there's no comeback. No reply, no explanation, no final act. Just the end. Not the dramatic, tear-soaked kind with a sad soundtrack. A cold, final end. The kind that leaves no crack in the door, because you locked it from the inside. And the kicker, you kept the key. And her, she's outside, knocking on a door that doesn't echo anymore. Because real love doesn't grovel, doesn't threaten, doesn't beg. It walks away when it realizes staying means betraying itself. Now, every day in the silence you left, she'll think of you. Not as the guy who left, but as the guy who, despite loving her, chose not to come back. And that's the kind of memory that doesn't get a rewind. It gets regret. She'll try to reach out. Not because she loves you. Love requires respect, and she never even learned to spell it. She'll send that random 3 a.m. text, like a photo from 2017, post some self-help quote that's really a dig. All of it? Not longing, just withdrawal from control. She misses the manipulate button you finally ripped out of your chest. When her passive-aggressive nonsense fails, here comes the attack. You've changed. You're cold. You've got no heart. She'll try to spin your growth into cruelty, your progress into a flaw. Because people like her can't stand watching you climb a ladder she never had the guts to step on with you. But you're done biting the bait. You don't respond, don't argue, don't explain. Because you've learned the most powerful lesson of all. Silence is deadlier than 1,000 words. Indifference is the final verdict. She didn't lose a boyfriend. She lost the last fool willing to swallow poison wrapped in neediness. You got tired of surviving on emotional scraps, thinking it was gourmet love. You quit the game where the prize was always losing yourself. Stopped pouring yourself out to fill the empty ego of someone who never had the courage to choose you for real. Now she's the one screaming, flailing, imploding. And you? You're silent. Because you've discovered the power of not needing to explain, not going back, not falling for another almost. The guy she controlled is dead. The one born now. Untouchable. Choosy. Free. And her. She'll have to choke on that with no caption, no reply, no return.